que traiga ¿qué? El libro de la ley. Hay que sacar el libro. Si alguien va a pararse en la calle a predicarle a la gente, tiene que sacar el libro de la ley y leer de ese libro. Si no, esa persona te está mintiendo. ¿Sabes eso, hermana? Porque hay mucha gente que predica, pero habla mucho sus propias palabras. Y la Biblia dice que no hagas eso. Shalom, shalom. First off, we give all glory and honor and all the power to Yahweh, which is, you guys know as Jehovah. Yahweh in the Hebrew, and we do so in the name of His only Son, which in the Hebrew is Yahushua. He is the person that the world knows or ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, based on that translation. His Hebrew name is Yahushua. Romans 9, Ramon, and give me, now you got my Bible? Yeah, I got mine? All right, Romans 9. Yeah? Watch, we're going to start in this question, Elijah. We're going to start with that question right there. 9, start at... Start, as a matter of fact, let's start on... We're going to start up here and then go down. 8? No, we'll start on verse 9. You guys know about the story of Jacob and Esau in the Bible?
Right.
You know about Jacob and Esau? So Jacob and Esau were twin brothers, right?
Right.
Well, what did the Most High do with Jacob and Esau?
He gave them different blessings, right?
No, he separated them.
Separated them, yeah.
He separated them, period. Right? So, matter of fact, hold on a moment and let's go to Genesis real quick. And read that real fast. Because there's something that he did, though. He didn't give them separate blessings. He did give them blessings, because at the end of the day, all the blessings that a man can get, whether it's an Israelite or somebody outside of Israel, it still comes from the Most High. It still comes from the Most High. What Esau received was a curse in the disguise of a blessing. That's what he actually received. He was cursed to do what he does. Watch, start at verse 21. Verse 21, Genesis 25, 21? 21. Okay. Watch. There's the book of Genesis, chapter 21, chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So she got pregnant. And then what happened with the pregnancy? Can you read it? And the children struggled together within her. So these two kids were meant to be fighting each other from the womb. They're literally fighting each other in the womb. This is going to be the opposite, the complete opposite of what Jacob was going to be. Can you read it? And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? So she questioned God and said, if this is supposed to be from you, why am I having so many problems? Can you read it? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her. Now God is going to explain what was happening in this book. He's going to explain what was happening. Go ahead. 2 nations are in thy womb. He said 2 nations. There's 2 babies, but these 2 kids were going to give birth to 2 different nations. Right, go ahead. And 2 manner of people. In 2 manner of people. These people, in the way that they are, we're going to be complete opposites of each other. 2 different manners. So he's telling you right here how the Most High was already separating them to be different. Go ahead. And 2 manner of people shall be separated, and then we're going to be separate. Never intended to be together. Unity in the world, that's not in the Bible. It's not in the God of the Bible don't believe in unity. He believes in Israelite unity. Right, go ahead. From thy vows. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. The one people that's strong is the one that was able to endure the kind of slavery that the white men put on us, that has never been done on anybody else on the planet. That's a fact that you got to take into mind when you start thinking about these policies that we're going to go into later. You got to keep that in mind. Nobody's been through what we've been through. People say that they have, they're bullshitting. They're lying. Nobody has been through what the Israelites have been through, right?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the elder was going to serve the younger. So this is talking about what was going to happen at the end. This is what he's really saying here. He's talking about what was going to happen in the end. Go ahead.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in the womb.
She had twins, right? Go ahead.
And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. Go ahead. Keep reading into Jacob. Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau.
So the hand of Jacob took hold of Esau's what?
Oh, Esau's heel.
So he took a hold of Esau's heel. This is symbology. This is talking about something that was going to happen in the end. Because Esau came out first. But the words, the promise was that the elder was going to serve the younger. In the world right now, it's the opposite of that. You got a Apocrypha room?
Oh, I no.
Okay, hey, let me get your Apocrypha real quick, Judah.
What are you looking for?
Ezra 6.
What would you finish it or?
No, wait there, Ezra. No, go ahead. They call his name Jacob, right?
Yeah, and his name was called Jacob.
So he didn't describe Jacob. He only described Esau because this is the beginning of the white man on the planet Earth.
First or second?
Period. Everybody else was some type of shade of brown. And people started getting lighter when this guy came around. Because his skin showed his blood. And we can go into the Bible in different verses to show you that the lack of melanin, the lack of color in your skin, that's the curse according to the Bible. Now the white man used to teach that black skin was a curse. But the sun, black skin absorbs the sun. White skin burns in the damn sun. So what does it matter? Does that make any sense? That black skin was a curse? It had to be the white skin that was a curse, right? Because they're the ones that got the highest rate of cancer in the world. That's a couple of points about showing you how this Bible is different than other books. Jacob, right? You got that? Verse 8. Read verse 8. You still here? Watch. I'm going to show you what the symbology was there. And then I'm going to go into the question that you were talking about.
Where am I at?
Verse 8 at the bottom. Verse 8?
Verse 8.
Watch. This is another comment. Go ahead.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 8.
And they took these books were taken out in the 17th century. It was very recent. When we got the actual King James, where's mine at? Show you. This one's got those books right inside of it. The original King James. It's got all 80 books in it. So what we're reading it was always in the Bible. Can we go ahead?
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born.
So we're talking about when we just finished reading in Genesis, right? Go ahead.
Of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So we're talking about the heel, when he grabbed on the heel. It's going to give a breakdown of what that symbology meant. Go ahead.
For Esau is the end of the world.
Esau came out first, but the prophecy was that the elder was going to serve the younger. So he said Esau is the end of the world, and what?
And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
So that means that Esau, the so-called white man, was going to be ruling when the kingdoms of the earth was going to come to an end, and the kingdom of the Israelites was going to start on earth. Because the kingdom of heaven is our kingdom. And it's going to happen, whether you want it or not, the kingdom of heaven is going to come. Now you're either going to be ruling in the kingdom of heaven, or you're going to enter into the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
That's the lot for an Israelite. The rest of the nations, some of them are going to make it in there so they can serve the Israelites and build our kingdom up the way that we have to build their kingdom up. That's righteous. That's righteous judgment. Now watch. Go to Romans. And I'm going to show you. Because The questions that you have, like why would he do that? Why would he create this people, right, to be like that? Now you can have that question. I had a similar question. But this is the point though. You gotta know your place. You gotta know your place, and you gotta understand the guy that you're dealing with. Look, the slavery that we went through, Elijah, that was unlike anybody else on this planet. This white man took away your name, took away all your land, took away your language. They raped. They didn't just rape the women. They were raping the men in front of the women. They were raping babies. This whole pedophile stuff that comes from the Catholic Church, the so-called Christian church, was involved in making us what we are today. And one of the techniques that they used to use was to rape the little boys to create all kinds of diseases in us. That's why nowadays we got pedophiles running among our people. That's why nowadays we got all this homosexuality. We're not homosexual by nature, but look how many of our people are in that bullshit. Because the white man raped us to be homosexuals the way that he was created. Because he was created crooked.
That's right.
But he was created to be an instrument to punish us. Now think about this. The things that happen to us, God allowed them to happen. So you gotta think about that God, because the Bible says the first thing you gotta do with God before you can get to understand anything, Elijah, is that you gotta fear that God. Think about your babies being raped. Think about a woman being hung on her feet and having her pregnant stomach cut open, the baby falling to the ground, and then some damn cracker stomping the baby to death. God allowed that to happen. Now watch. We go that question that you have. Watch. Start at. Well, I'll tell you to start at. Remind me, number 9. Read that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 9. For this is the word of promise.
The word of promise is talking about the same thing we were reading. Is it still recording? What?
At this time I will come, and Sarah shall have a son.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. Verse 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. Go
ahead.
Oh. For the children being not yet born.
So it's talking about the same thing we just read. The children they were not even born yet. Read.
Neither having done any good or evil.
They didn't do no good or evil. Go ahead.
That the purpose of God, according to election,
that the purpose of God, according to what He shows. What He shows. Go ahead.
My stand.
He was going to stand. He shows this before they were born, before they did any good or evil. Christians would say that Esau, God hated Esau because the thing that he did. No, the Bible tells you the opposite of that. That's the stupidity that these people preach. That's not found in the Bible. This is how we can show some of the things that we can show you to make you understand that the understanding of the Bible, it hasn't been preached in the world. It hasn't. We're preaching the actual truth of the Bible. Esau was hated because God created him for that purpose. Read.
Not of works.
Not of works, meaning not anything that they did,
but of him that calleth.
Because he shows it. He shows Jacob to be the righteous and created Esau to be the wicked right there in the same womb. In the same womb he did this. And he did this for a purpose. Keep reading.
It was said unto her that the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder was going to serve the younger, but we just finished reading. Keep reading.
As it is written.
As it is written.
Jacob have I loved.
God chose to love Jacob. That's us. Go ahead.
But Esau have I hated.
But the so-called white man, he hated him from the get-go. And created him for that purpose. Read.
What shall we say then?
Now, what are we going to say then? When we think about this and consider this thing, right? What are we going to say, Elijah? The questions that we have in our heads. Read.
Is there righteousness with God?
Is God unrighteous? God said, he said, is there anything wrong with God? Is there righteousness with God? He said what?
God forbid.
God forbid. Hell no.
Shalom, hermanos. Nosotros somos los hijos de Israel y nuestra misión es darle las buenas nuevas a los tal llamados hispanos, latinos, indios nativos y al tal llamado hombre negro aquí en Norteamérica. Y la buena noticia es que ustedes son los verdaderos hijos de Israel de acuerdo principalmente a la palabra de Dios y las profecías que se encuentran en la palabra. Por favor, si te gusta el contenido, suscríbete, comparte y comenta. Toda la información de contacto va a estar en la descripción abajo. Shalom.